Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah Sadasiva Samarambam Sankaracharya Madhyamam Sadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara Om Sagana Vavadu Sagana Punattu Sakaviryam Karavavakai Tejasvina Agitavastma Vishwahe Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaskaram. Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnana Pratam Gurum Mukshunam Hidarthaya Tattva Bodha Abhideyate. So we are studying the Prakarana Grantham Tattva Bodha. We are in the section 8. This is a text, as we know, full of glossary of terms, the Paribhasha for Vedanta, explaining in a very brief way what is the scope of the Vedanta Darshana and what are the key words to go through it. We finished the Adhikaratva, which gives you the qualities that you need to pursue this study. Then, assuming that we are going to pursue the qualifications, we continued as Jigyasu to the next part, which is Atma Vichara. Because in Vedanta, knowledge is everything. To attain the knowledge, we need to know everything. So knowing everything means we put them into 3 blocks of domains of knowledge: the world, Jagat, the creator of the world, the Ishvara, and myself, and ourselves. So we started the first one and we gone through the Tattva Viveka, what it means, the Padartham. As this Prakarana Grantham, in Vedanta generally, Padartham, the word meaning is very important. Even in this text is written in such a way, the teacher asks, make a statement, the student finds a word, asks a question, and then he goes on. So when we learn this text, you see here we finished with the last class saying Tattva Viveka Kaha Atma Satyam Tad Anyat Sarvam Mithya Iti. Atma is a Satyam, everything else is Mithya. Even though it's an elementary text, you study this and then you take up great Upanishad, great Vyagaranas, Gitas, you study for the next 30, 40, 50 years. And after that, if somebody comes and asks you, what have you learned? You'll still say the same thing. Atma Satyam Tadyanit Mityate. So that's the beauty of it, because in Vedanta, every scripture, every Grantha is complete by itself. So don't ever think this elementary text is only elementary. No, it is complete by itself if you put your heart to it. We can study about, Ashtavagraha Gita, Avaduta Gita, and all this kind of extremely dry, enchantingly monotony of Advaita Upadesam. There is no lessons there. There's no philosophy there. It's just telling you, reinforcing you, you are that, you are that. Whereas in this kind of a text, it gives you instructions, lessons to understand. So the best way to study this is that every class is over, at least you spend maybe 20 minutes a day or something on those subjects that we studied, contemplate, understand, and become convinced of that. Because you built this house on a very stable brick. So you have to really, if you carry that doubt in your mind, it's very difficult to clarify. So we saw that 3 things in this word: Atma, Satyam, and Mithya. Naturally, the student is going to ask a question: what is Atma? Just now we heard from the lecture that Atma, one of the definitions is Maunam. Maunam, Muni Bhasha. You see, Then why are we talking about Atma now? Silence is a language when you are in the same wavelength. When you have a very loving husband and wife, and after some time, the wife doesn't even need to say anything. Her eyebrows rise and your cheek rises. You know what she's talking about, what she thinks about. The anyonyam happens. So supreme prem, supreme jnana, everything is the same. It is silence. So in the guru and shishya, when shishtacharam is maintained, that is you as a good disciplined shishya, the guru doesn't need to say anything. But we will go about that, know about that later. So here we talk about it because we need to understand what is Atma, Atma or Atman, whichever way we say it. So we saw in the last session a literal meaning. So I would like you to be with me on this. For the next few sessions, we take a very literal meaning. Atma in Sanskrit means I, self. Therefore, I never bothered to know about this anything more. So what's the complication? So if you look at this one, if you take a literal meaning, I can say, I am Atma. I am Atma. That's absolutely right. But the trouble is, if I then look at this Bhagavad Gita, for example, he says in chapter 10, we just now read, Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarva Bhutashaya Siddha. Aham Atma, I am the Atma. Gudakesha, Arjuna, I am the Atma. Sarva Bhutashaya, in all this body, Bhuta here is any manifestation. Sthidara, I am the one in the Atma. Aham Adishcha, Madhyamcha, Anta Bhutanam Yevacha. I am in the beginning, in the middle, and the end. Hey, there's a contradiction here. So Aham literally means I am Atma. But now Bhagavan says, he is the Atma, he is sitting in everybody, in all the Buddhas, in every animal, every living beings, in the beginning, the middle, the end. Even he says in the same chapter 10 we just now studied, Desham Evanukam Partham Aham Ajnanajam Tamha. Nashayam Atma Bhava. So I am in the Atma Bhava. I am in your Atma Bhava. Why? Jnana Dibhena Bhashvada. I am giving the enlightenment, I am giving the effulgence, I am giving the consciousness to you as Atma. So we have a conflict now. When I take a literal meaning, I am Atma. So wherever I read the word Atma, it just simply refers to me. I am. Refers to you. But when I look at this Shruti Vakya, Veda Vakyas, Aham is something very supreme. Brahman. There is a Mahavakya called Aham Brahmasmi. Mahavakyas in Vedas, Upanishad means any sentence that give you the import of the union of Aham and the Brahma. Jiva Brahma Aikya Vakyams is called a Mahavakya. There are many Mahavakyas. The four are very popular. So for example, Prajnanam Brahma is a Mahavakyam in Atreya Upanishad in Rig Veda. Prajnana means the consciousness is Brahman. You can, for this time being, you can equate the Brahman to Atma, doesn't matter. We will come back to that, the same words used again. So Atma is defined as a Prajnanam, your consciousness. So it's called Lakshana Mahavakya. It's in the Rig Veda. Aham Brahmasmi. I am the Brahman. Aham Atma is now mean to Aham Brahmasmi. This is in Yajurveda, in the Bhagavad Upanishad. Then you have the famous one you heard, Tattvamasi. Here he doesn't talk about Brahma or Atma. That is you. That you are. When somebody is talking, they have been talking about a particular car they want to buy, and the father and son they've been talking about for many times. And one day they're going on the road and they see the car. The father looks at the son and says, that is it. Son says, oh, it is that. So they understand each other. Nobody understands what's going on. That and this is known between the father and the son because they know what they are searching for. So the guru and Shishya are searching for the Brahman. And when the guru says, Tat Tvam Asi, that you are, it's called Upadesa Mahavakya. And there's one called Ayamatma Brahma. Everything is Brahma. It's called Anusantana Mahavakya. So we must know what is that Lakshana Mahavakyam. Somebody has to give the Upadesam to us. Then we understand the Upadesam and we become Aham Brahmasmi. Then we are going to live in this world till the body dies. Then you treat everybody as a Brahman. I am Atma Brahma. So it's such a beautiful step process to give a virtuous life. Okay, I'm just digressing anyway. So now if you look at it, so therefore, if you take the Gita Vakyam, Bhagavan's Vakyam, and my literal meaning, there is a conflict. So my view of who I am does not correspond to this. But we need Shraddha because my knowledge is limited. So therefore this contradiction is to be resolved. Therefore I should believe the right side. That means what is said by the Shruti is right. What I'm thinking is inadequate. Therefore what I need to do, the literal meaning is not good enough. I must do something else. What I'm equating myself to. So whenever I say I, please say to yourself. Whenever you say I, Naresh, I, Raj, whatever you say that, whatever you think of that reference is not complete. So if you put an equation, I'm definitely Atma because that is literally correct and philosophically correct. But there's something else maybe there. That's why this complication comes in. Because why do you need a vivekam to discriminate? Because there's a mixture. As I told you last time, rice and the stone mixed. Therefore, you need to split it out. So we use the word anatma. What is not atma? Therefore, my understanding of who I am, what I'm thinking as atma, may be not completely atma. It has got atma and anatma inside. I give a gentle warning here because Vedanta is like a very compassionate teacher, but very tricky teacher. So she teaches you something so that you understand something very clearly. You are able to rise the step. And then the Mother Nature, Mother Veda will tell you, okay, I'm going to tell you something before now. What you learned before is not needed anymore. Give it up, go for something else. So at some stage, we are going to say there is no anatma. Sarvam Brahmamaya. There is anatma there. But we are not there. So, but we take step by step. Therefore, we be very subjective now. My concept of myself, I, is a mixed ball. It's got two variables, Atma and Anatma. Therefore, I must understand this. So, student will therefore ask the question. The striking word is Atma. Therefore, he is asking the next question. So, he is asking the teacher, Atma kaha. What is Atma? The teacher is responding back. Sthula Sukshma Karana Sarirat Vedriktaka Panchakoshadida San Avastatraya Sakshi Sachidananda Swarupaha San Yas Tishtadi Sa Atma. The student may be wondering now. I think he just asked a very simple question. He thought, what is Atma? But the teacher gives a very long sentence, throwing more words now. You see, the Upadesam is by words. So he's giving more and more words. So we take some time to understand why he says what he says. First, let's look at the word Vyatiriktaha. So Vyatiriktaha means it is different from. So he is now telling, he's asked for the Atma, he is now telling in a way that it is not that. Say, in the Vedanta, as I told you before, proving Vedantic equations, problems, which the science called the fundamental problems, you don't need a complex equation. You keep on redefining the definition. The more pure the definition comes, the better the answer will be. So it's called Lakshana. So we already talked about it before. So Vyatiriktaha is a kind of a Lakshanam. Vyavartaka Lakshana. Yeah, Vyavartaka Lakshana. That means, so for example, where is that house? You say, you see that red house next to that. So you now telling, you are showing the house that you want to show, but not showing the house, but showing something else and then differentiating it. You get it? So basically you say, this is not that. So he was saying, something he says in long words, and we know Vyatiriktaka means this is not that. What is that he is using? Here the house is Sarira. So he is showing a Sarira. Sarira means body. Sariram comes from the word Shriyade is Sarira, that which decays. We also say Deha. Deham means body. Dahana Yogyata iti Deha. That which can be burnt is body. That which decays is the body. The body is actually something which will perish. So he uses the Sarira as the marker of the house. Vyatiriktaka. So that Sarira is not you. So there is one analysis we need to do. So of course, as a student, you're going to ask which house, why that house. We'll come back to that. He also adds additional thing, Koshaka. So Sariram is body. Kosha is another word for how the body is, or how the house is constructed. You can say a sheet or a layer. We discuss in a minute. So he gives two words, Sariram and Kosham, and say Atma is different from that. Then he gives a positive enforcement. By the way, Atma is a Sakshi, a witness. What does a Sakshi means in Sanskrit? Sakshi means one who is witnessing something without being party to that. He is not experiencing, he is not acting, but he is purely witnessing it. So there is a positive identity of what is Atma, a Sakshi. Then also gives, okay, where is the Sakshi is going to be in what's called an Avastha. So Avastha is experience. So he is going to give some experience to you and say, the one that is seeing the experience, very careful understanding here, not that one which is experiencing it, no. The one that is seeing the experience is a Sakshi, is an Atma. It'll be all clear in a minute, so don't worry if it is confusing to you. The last one, he says, the definition, well, he is a Swarupa, The other Lakshanam is called Swarupa Lakshanam. So there are two kinds of Lakshanam, Tadastha Lakshanam, Kadachittam Yatvartam. See, if you have incidental attributes, for example, if you say Jagat Karanam Ishvara, the one who created the world is Ishvara. If I define the Ishvara like that, it is an incidental attribute. Why? Because the world is destroyed. Before the world is created, what happened? So it is something incident happened. Incidental, attributed attribute. But if you say Satchidanandam, Satyam is Brahman, then it is the Swarupam itself. Now the question is, can you define word Swarupam? If you say, look, I am a man, or I am so-and-so's husband, or I am so-and-so's brother, all that are incidental, is it not? So we haven't got a definition of ourselves. Our Swarupa Lakshanam, we are still not clear because we never asked ourselves. We always know that, okay, I am Balaji, I am so and so. The name is given to you. Somebody gave you a name. Somebody called you, you are a man, or you are an Indian, or you are a manager, you are a teacher. Everybody attributes to you, then you got an attributes. So you have Tadastha Lakshanam, incidental Lakshanam. But there is a Swarupa Lakshanam. Here the Vedas define the Swarupa Lakshanam as Satchidananda. Sun means indeed, definitely. So he has now given you two ways to understand what is Atma, what is not Atma. So he is defining Anatma in the first two lines. And then he's giving you what is Atma by a positive definition. So let's take one at a time. Sarira, Sthula, Sukshma, Karana, Sarirat. So now he says, Atma is not the body. And by the way, dear student, the body has got three types: Sthula, Sukshma, Karana. We're going to go into detail in the next question because the student is going to ask you. So we'll wait there. But just to understand the definition of Sthula, Sukshma, and Karana. Karana, you know it. Karana is the reason, cause. Can any one of you think of anything in this world which has no cause for it? Anything? Impossible. Everything got a cause. Say, suppose you are a painter. So you painted a beautiful picture. So and you present the picture to me. I look at the picture. I can touch the picture. I can see it. It's beautiful, red color, blue color. My perception can understand it. It is gross matter. It is sthulam. Sthulam is something which is tangible, perceivable. Everything that you see is sthulam. But how it was created? So the drawing of this picture, the imagery, everything was in your mind when you're drawing it. Until you finished the drawing, nobody could see that. But it existed. That gave birth to the sthula picture. So the sukshma is that which is imperceptible, which cannot be seen, but which is subtle, which gives birth to the sthula. So your thought about the picture and thinking about it, how to draw, everything happening in your mind, the chitta vritti, and then the effort putting everything is coming through energy is sukshma. I'm trying to define the word sukshma for you to understand. But what is the karana? Why did you draw the picture? You may say, look, I draw the picture because I want to present to you. But why did that thought come to you that you must present to me? You can't plan to think. The thought comes to you because of samskara. As I told you before, chitta vriddhi, you see, you warm up the thought. Thought is given to you as a gift from your karmas. This morning, if you think that I should go to this class, of course, it comes from abhyasa. Every week you want to do it. That's samskara. But there is a karma that you will go through this class. So there is a causal part of it, which is absolutely not seeable. It's beyond. Sukshma cannot be seen, but sukshma can be felt by the one who is actually having the sukshma part. So here, the Vedanta says the body, here body means everything in the world, but for our vicharam, let us take ourselves, because much easier to focus on one person. So yourself, you are now therefore having three types of body. A sthula body, gross body, which is basically, you know it, your fingers, bone, everything you touch, you see. Even your liver, heart, which you don't see from your eyes, but you know that it is beating. By touching it, you know heart is beating. When you're hungry, your stomach is making noise, you know they exist. Everything that you see in embodiment, physical embodiment, is sthula. We all know this. But what we may not know, that we have a Sukshma Sariram. What is the Drishtana? What is the, how do you prove this one? Because there's a difference between a dead person and a living person. So there is something which animates this body. So therefore that form of configuration, or you can take a IT terms, a computer is a sthulam, the software that boots up is the Sukshma. So there is a Sukshma Sariram inside the body. Now again, there is a question whether it's inside or outside. We will park that discussion later. So there is a Sthula Sariram I know, the Sukshma Sariram I know. I never thought about the Karana Sariram before. But if I think about it, I know I am born because of my parents. Their relationship gave me birth to them. But they didn't even know, they didn't even plan to have me in this body, in this shape, in this name. So therefore, they are also just a thoroughfare for me to come to this world. So why am I born? Why am I having this body? And because we know that in the world, everything got a cause, so I call it a causal body. So it is not actually a body, it is a collection of the causes that creates these three bodies. So enough for this, this verse. So basically here, you're given three bodies. Then he says, Pancha Kosha, Koshadika. I am beyond this Pancha. Pancha means five. Kosha means the sheath. It's very interesting why he gives this say, because you can take this SARIRA-TRIYA, the three bodies, and you can analyze which arm you can do. But you may have some doubts coming in because the distinction is not very clear. Therefore, you cut that into layers. So you have two-dimensional graph, three bodies this side, five sheath, and then how it fits into this. So the Panchakosha. Sun means indeed. So therefore this is 1 and 2, the line 1 and 2, basically analyzing my three bodies and seeing that the three bodies are not me. So I'm going to ask question about these bodies to the teacher in a minute. The next one, Avastha-traya. So avastha means you are in something, experience, entangled in something. So three types of avasthas that you do. Traya means three. What are the three types of avastha? You see, the whole world can be defined by your experience. Life is nothing but anubhavadhara. So when I get up in the morning, my physical senses are awakened. I see the tangible things. I deal with everybody else. My life goes in. Then I go to bed. I try to sleep. My physical body is at rest. We will learn how it actually go to rest in a minute. Body is at rest. The mind may be dreaming now. So in the dream, I mixes everything else. I take this satsanga class and somebody is singing, and then I combine with a cow somewhere I saw. I merge them together. I said the cow is singing. My dream is a cow sings. I experienced that one. I feel wonder about the cow. I'm in Benares. I'm in New York. The next minute. Because life is anubhavadhara. The dream is part of my life. So if you take 6 hours, 7 hours sleep, you say 2 hours of dreaming in elapsed time. Your life is of that world. Then you are in a completely deep sleep. There is no swapnas, there is nothing, like a dead wood. You just the breathing goes in. Next day morning, you get up. I had a fantastic sleep. So if you take your day's life, 24 hours life, you have three experiences very distinct. In each of these things, you may look you are the same person, but you have a very different experience within you. If the dream experience is the same as the daily experiences, I'll be looking for every cow singing. No, I completely disown it. There's another person in me seeing as if I am. Therefore, you have three distinct experiences, and this is called a triya. But you are able to say this very cogently that, look, I was the one getting up, I was the one sleeping, I was the one dreaming. How is this possible that there is a part of me is seeing all this happening? You may have questions on this now. Park the questions. But here I'm just defining. The Sakshi is therefore, that is the part of me, the awareness in me, which is seeing through all the experiences this embodiment, Sthula Sukshma Karana embodiment is going through. That Sakshi is that. And of course, the last one is Satchidananda. We will talk about it later. So if you really look at it, for one word, innocently this disciple asked for what is Atma, is given like 3 plus 5 plus 11 plus Satchidananda 3. So 14 words, and new words have come to the student. Sthula, Sukshma, Karana, 3 embodiments, Panchakosha. There are 5 of them. 3 experiences, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. Plus the 3 words, Sat, Chit, Ananda. So therefore, if I need to prove that I transcend this thing, that I am Vediriktha, I must resolve the equation to realize that I am Sat, Chit, and Ananda. So the trouble the student now got by asking that question is given a major task: understand these 14 terms, resolve the equation, and realize that you are that. The student is very strong. Now he says, okay, I will still have more questions to ask. So he is asking. So here I put certainly because this sun, the word is to say indeed, clearly, surely. So it is assuring you that this is the right thing to do. So his next question is asking, Sthula Sariram Kim. The first one is the Sthula Sariram. He's asking, what is this Sthula Sariram? Panchikrita Panja Mahabhutai Kritam Satkarma Janyam Sukha Dukkha Bhoga Yadanam Sariram Asti Jayate Vartate Viprinamate Apakshiyate Vinashyati Iti Shat Vikaravate Tat Sthula Sariram. So he's asking, teacher, tell me what is Sthula Sariram means. What is Sthula? So I think this goes in the next 3 Sarirams as well, same way. So we will look at it in 4 ways. What is the use of this Sthula Sariram? What it is made of? Who made it? What caused it? And what's its nature? Because if I am thinking that I am the Sthula Sariram, and if I am not the Sthula Sariram, I must know why I am discarding it. So let's take these 4 questions. What is the use of it first? Here he is giving second line. Sthula Sariram is Sukha Dukkhadi Bhoga Ayatanam Sariram. Sukha Dukkha Adi. So happiness, pleasure, and pain. Adi here, etc. Like heat and cold, mana, abhimana. So all kind of polarities. Normally the word bhoga means enjoyment or pleasure when there is no qualifier. So when you say Jivatma is Bhogatma, we're born in the world to enjoy the world. Bhoga is fine. But when you put a qualifier like Sukha Dukkha Bhoga, then the Bhoga doesn't mean enjoyment, but experience. So Bhoga means experience. So one who experiences Sukham Dukkham. But what is it? It is Ayatanam. Ayatanam means, a lot of deeper meaning, but simply it means the house, the holding. the domicile, residence. So to experience the pain and the pleasure, good and the bad, mana and abhipana, the house of that experience is your body. In other words, you have all the experiences because of the body. Therefore, the use of the body is to experience it. And when you have a karma, we will learn about it in a minute, you have to experience it. You have no choice. Therefore, the use of the body, how do you prove this? Again, it's very simple. So, when am I not having a body? Of course, death is different. When I go to deep sleep, my body is not there with me. I don't enjoy anything outside. So if you do not have the body, or if you do not have the instrument of the body to enjoy something, you won't enjoy it. Therefore, the house, the holding where you experience everything in the life is body, which means when you are dead, when the body leaves away, the gross body is discarded, you do not experience the world. Drishtanta is a deep sleep. In the deep sleep, you don't see the world. World is gone. Time is gone. Space is gone. Nothing is there. The body is not there. We will go deeper later, but I think right now the use is, it is a chetanam, a insentient part, but it is necessary to experience this world. What is it made of? Panchikrita pancha maha bhutaihi kritam. Kritam means made of, made by. Maha bhutaihi. Bhutam means manifestation. Mahabhutam is generally called the natural elements. Pancha Mahabhutam means 5 natural elements, which are space, air, fire, water, and the earth. So these 5 Mahabhutam, Kritam. What Kritam? The Sarira-Kritam. It made the bodies. But what sort of Pancha Mahabhutam? There's an adjective there. Panchikrita Pancha Mahabhutaya. It's very important to understand. Panchikritam is a process of contemplation. We're going to study that in detail in the later of the text. See, anything that manifests, we just now saw, has got a sthulam part, a gross part, and a subtle part, and a causal part. So if I have the Pancha Mahabhutam, if I have light, water, air, earth, they exist, right? Therefore, they must have the three sarirams as well. So the water that I drink from the tap is a gross form of water. How do I know? Because I can see it, I can taste it. That Vedanta says, to attain that gross form, it has gone through a process called Panchikrana. So Panchikrata means that which has gone through the modification of what? Of this sthula part. Like the thinking of drawing in your mind, translated into an art, the subtle part of the Panchabhutams have gone through a process called Panchikarna and become a gross part. Therefore, the light you see, the water you see, the fire you see, the earth you see, they are gross elements. Even the space is gross, because you can fill it up with things. You can use it. So subtle one you can't see. Subtle means basically it's imperceptible. So here he is telling, your body, my body, is made up of these 5 elements, gross elements. And you ask the question, prove it to me. Okay, very simple. First one, space is in my body. How do I prove it? Well, when I sit there in this chair, nobody else can sit in the chair because I'm occupying it. The space is gone. So without the space, my body cannot be there. So it is very simple. Air, we have air in this body. Of course, air goes, comes, air is everywhere. If the air is not there, the body is not going to function. So the air is there. Is there a fire in the body? Of course. 98.4 degrees Fahrenheit, they say. Fire is there in my body. Water, 70% or more than that is body is water. Prithvi, earth. Earth is my body. Yes. Everything that is produced in this world is the earth. If I have an apple now and eat the apple, apple has come from the earth. Earth transforms into an apple. It has gone through that one process of creation. If you take the whole body, if you go into slice your body, you say DNA or cell or DNA. DNA is what? It's full of phosphate, sugar, nitrate, all the elements from the earth. 118 elements. I don't know how many now, periodic table, 118, 119. So you see this earth is there. That's why when there is a banana, and I eat the banana, what happened? Banana has become me, my body. The gross part of the banana, the tamasic part, I use a few words which you haven't discussed. Tamasic part goes away as my stools. The rajasic part becomes the power, protein, and the rasam, the sattvic part becomes your mind. Banana gives you energy in your mind, think through it. So everything in the Panchikaranam, in the primordial world, what is there, it becomes grossified and forms his body. But I didn't ask this to be formed. What is the reason for it? What caused it? Karma Janya. If you give an answer, this is made by God, then I think we are shying away from the truth, because if body is made by God, then God takes responsibility for my failures. Why should he create somebody lame and somebody dumb, somebody is extremely bright? So many people mistake this, the destiny, karma, everything as, fatalistic. It will happen, that it's a vidhi, fate, so we can't do it. No, it's actually the ulta of it. Basically, it tells you that you take responsibility for it. It is karma. It is you that you did that. Karma janyam. Janya means come out of it. From what? From karma. How do you prove it? Okay, I can give an example. So somebody told me a month back, Raja, your waistline is looking bigger. You are not doing anything at all. Your body is out of shape. So it hurt my feelings. I go or run 2 hours a day, morning and evening, go to the gym, do yoga. My body changed. What did I do? I do some action. I can change my body. But these actions, when it's happening in birth after birth after birth, is also the reason for choosing the body. The shape, the color, the height, weight, where to be born, which parents to be born, which lineage to be there. Everything is from the karma. So it's frighteningly, it is giving you a very sweet news, which means if I want to have another Janma, I can start working about it, see what kind of body I want. I may have to do certain things so that my virtuous deeds are much higher. My intensity of purpose in life should be towards Sat Vishaya. So Sat Karma Janyam. This is very important. This is only for the human being, because this applies to all bodies. Even a fish has got a Sula Sushma Karma Sarira. A rock has got this thing. But their bodies are on different levels of maturity. The configuration changes. An iPad and a supercomputer and a calculator, they all do the same function, but different features, different configurations. So for us, Sat Karma. So we know the use, we know the cause, and we know how it is, what it is made of. And what is its nature? Sat Vikara. Vikara means changes. Sat Vikara. 6 important changes for this. What are they? Asti. Asti means existence. Jayate, birth. Hey, how come existence comes before birth? Because you exist before birth. Birth is basically become a victim. You come out of a womb to see the world from a person's body. But before that, you were in the body in some form, a fetus, an egg, a cell, a sperm, whatever. You are never nasty. So Asti is the first one. Then Jayate, Jayate is born. Vardhate, then you grow. Body grows aggressively, pushti. Then it comes to a stage, vardhate, matured. If it's a girl, her features become appropriate to a yuvati, and man grows, mustache comes, beard comes, shoulders become big, Adam's apple comes out, high, tall, bigger, full of purpose. Then it stops. Then viparinamati. Then it is not really growing, but it may just do a little bit of changes here and there. Then apakshati. Maybe I've not hurt anybody's feeling. Maybe when you cross 45, maybe 50, let's say, it started decaying. The same knees where you ran a marathon, now you do 5 sit-ups, the kneecaps are hurting. You played tennis, your backhand was so good, now you can't even lift the ball. Your elbows are hurting. At some stage, it is gone. Manaschati. The body is gone. But you see, it's not depressing because it has nothing to do with us. Because we're going to learn this is not us, this is not me. I'm not this body, I'm not this Sthula Sariram. I happen to have this with me as my car, as my house, as my hammer, as my pen, as my instrument. It will go through this process, like my car will decay. If you understand it, it gives you tremendous confidence and courage to face the inevitability of life, physical ailments, bodily pains, and even death. See, if you look at it here, why should Venasyate, death also part of the vikara, is a change. If death is the end of it, it cannot be called a change, is it not? Therefore, death means it will come to birth. Asti, Jayate, Vardhate, Viprate, Prishti, Vinasya. Again, Asti, you go on in a circle of life. You have the way forward to turn the wheel to a particular direction so that you have better body, better punya. You can do that. Or you get bored and say, look, I am fed up of this cycle of things. I don't want this body. I took it away. So that is how the Sthula Sariram is defined. So now to complete this one, what we say, the Sthula Sariram is a gross body, tangible body. It has got 6 different states of changes. These states are inevitable. The body is made because of my karma. Therefore, I don't blame anybody. So if a child is born and it is, we see the child, 3 years get cancers and passes away, we feel sorry for them, for the parents. We do that. But there is nothing that you can do because that is what is being asked for it. What we see as a tragedy for the mother and father losing a child, but a child's point of view, that may be the liberation because that body, that prarabdha karma is finished. Now I use the word prarabdha karma, which we didn't discuss. So for the karma here, that's why Tattva Bodha also talks about karma at the end of it. Karma is your ownership of things. We use the word karma and karma pala interchangeably. But strictly speaking, they're two different things. Karma is the action, karma pala is the result of the action. Here it actually means karma pala janya. So the result of the karma, it is born. So if I am born in this body with these wonderful features, because I am blessed with my karmas, where is all this karma stored? Who accounts for it? Where is it? All these karmas are stored in a box called Sanchitam. The box called Sanchitam, all your karmas are stored. This karma will have three things. Punya, because you do things, right things, virtuous things. Papa, which is not a good thing, which you should not be doing it. You do it knowingly, you should not be doing it, you're doing it. It's Papa. And there's something called a Mishra. Normally it's not said, but I think for perfection we should say that. Mishra is, for example, you are helping somebody, but with the notion that you want to extract something from them. See, you do a punya karyam. So I do say, for example, I do the seva to people. I go and help them out. But in my heart of heart, I want my help to be known to everybody else because I'm helping. But it's not 100% punyam. It's some punyam is there, but it's mishra because I have an ego, I have self-need for it. But it's better than papa, of course. So you have this punya papa mishra accumulated and stored in a box called sanchita. So the box is a pile of boxes, kind of a mountainous box, huge box. During every embodiment in the world, the person who is managing this take a portion of this, because you know that person who's managing this has to manage for everybody in the world. Therefore, the responsibility to manage the world in a dharmic way is very important. If I cannot give all the punya to one thing to go, the punya may mean that you rule the whole world, which will conflict. Therefore, a portion of that is taken to every being and given, okay, you take this many punyas, mishras and papas. For this, you get this kind of embodiment. Go and enjoy. Now, if the punya of you are so such that you realize this in your previous janma, you'll be born, you may have life enjoyment, but someday you will turn into satsang like this. Okay, now I want to take control of it because I don't want this to continue ever. Or if it continues, I want it to continue in such a way. So therefore, I drop my papas, minimize my mishras, accumulate the punya. Now, who is managing all this? It used to say God, everything is God. But we should take responsibility for it. Responsibility is within us. The Sakshi I told you, the Atma, it takes a role. The role is called Chitra Gupta. Gupta means secret. Chitra means picture. Why is it called a secret picture? Everything that we do, consciously, whatever you want to do, when we did, others may not know why I did it, but I would know. Even a murderer, even a thief knows that he is doing murdering and thieving. Impossible not to know unless you do unconsciously like a child. Then there's no path. When you know it and do it, it is written down as a fragrance which is so deep as a vasana in this. These are all accumulated here. It is not visible because when you take a little camphor in front of a sunlight, the camphor light won't be visible at all. Or incense stick, if you take a little fire in the end of it, you show it in front of the sun god. Sun god will not see it most of the time. Sun god will not see it. It's so bright. But every light is off. Sunlight is gone. Darkness, room light is off, LED is on, bedroom light is gone. Now suddenly you see that incense stick flames high. Why? Because all other activities, sensations all subsided. What is perpetually running, the movie running in your mind, Chitram that is running in your mind, the secret picture, Chitragupta running in your mind, become visible. That is why when somebody is in a deathbed, when everything is gone, the physical powers are gone, the gross body is decaying, aprikshite, the sukshma sariram is there, the picture becomes more visible. So he is not able to hear when people say, uncle, get up and see who has come from America, look at them, can you sign the will? And you do all kinds of abuse on the person who is on the deathbed. But that person is seeing the picture. In Puranas, it is made into a story. Chitragupta is an accountant doing an account for you, and then he is doing the debit credit. It's all happening in your mind. And the picture is running, and the person sees the picture talks about that, I killed that goat when I doing my clay pot shooting, I shot the goat. And it is somehow thick in my heart. And that is prominent. And if I leave this body, we'll learn about it, how it all happens from the Shastras. Then that becomes a driver for my Satkarmajanya, my next Sariram. Maybe I become a butcher, or maybe I become a shepherd, or maybe I become a sheep. I don't know. So that is how Vedanta makes you take ownership of. If you discard everything as a joke, as a thing, but at least you still have a lesson, because you become responsible for your life here and hereinafter. So I think I would like to stop it there. It's 12 o'clock. So just to summarize it, the Shishya asked a question about Atma. The teacher said, Atma is not what you think. Therefore, it is not the body, not the Sarira, not the Kosha. But it is the Sakshi of your experience, and it is Sat Chit Anandam. So there are 14 words. The Shishya has to understand all the 14 words. Therefore, he asked the first word. What is the gross body? What is Sthula Sarira? For that, he has given this definition. And then we'll next have to find out what is Sukshma Sariram, what's the Kausal Sariram, and then what all the words. So that when this SARIRA-TRIYA, is what we are discussing now, that maybe in the next 2 sessions, we finish about contemplating about our body. How do I do the mananam of it? Think about it all the time. And then you have a repositioning about your body itself. It doesn't mean that you will discard the body. You will make it better, because it's an instrument for you. You will do exercise better. But you have a compassion to that. When the headache comes in, you don't really cry, oh, I got a headache. No, you say, this head is aching, I need to cure it. So you sort it out. So you do this mananam, and you do Nityasana. And then we spend I would say that maybe 2 classes for the SARIRA-TRIYA, and then 2 for the other 2. So then we finish this section in maybe in 4 sessions. Thanks very much. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you, Raja, very much. So once again, a very beautiful and very purposive talk, and moving forward in our march in Vedanta. Thank you very much. And we will finish it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Let us have the Upanishad. Mr. Natu.
Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya
Jyotirgamaya
Mrityorma Amardangamaya.
Mrityorma Amritangamaya.
Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.